Thursday, it's the 17th, and I'm going to bring up my desktop as we're chatting. And we're going to chat, talk about stuff. So the title, I don't know why I bothered to put a title in any of my live streams. Nothing ever stays nothing ever stays on topic. I don't actually have a topic. I wrote about, I put illusion on there because this is something that's on my mind always quite a bit. Hey Mira, my friend, how are you? And it was something that we were able to talk about this morning, but the discussion left me slightly um, dissatisfied, unsatisfied. This is what the Buddha said in the original language of the Buddha, which was Pali, P-A-L-I, dukkha, meaning transient, unsatisfying. And he wrote that life is dukkha, which has been mistranslated and carried onwards that life is suffering. Life certainly involves suffering, but we suffer because of the dukkha, because of the transitory nature of life and the fact that we cling to that which is always changing. We demand permanence in an impermanent universe. Universe I. Mir says, how are you, sir? I'm doing very well, my friend. And I'm good, sir. And thank you for asking. I'm glad to hear that. So let's unwrap that the best that we're able. Certainly the best that I'm able. You guys might be able to unwrap it a little bit more. And yoga also talks about suffering. Both yoga and Buddhism. Really, Buddhism is an offshoot of yoga. Buddha was a yogi. Let's see, which kind of weather? It is cold out. Not freezing, but you know, for me, this is always the coldest because last week was 80 degrees. Actually, 3 days ago was 80 degrees. And then it gets to the high 40s or the low 50s, and it just feels drastic. You know what I mean? In January, I'm a little more used to the cold. So 50 degrees, which seems like freezing now to me, will seem balmy, perfect. It's all about relativity. This is what Nagarjuna, who was a great Buddhist master, called relativity, and the middle way. The middle way has been translated as in everything in moderation, but it's not that at all. It is that there is no one thing separate from any other thing. Everything's connected, intertangled. Not quite the word. Not quite the word I was looking for. And let's see. Mir says, "Stay blessed, sir." Thank you, my friend. Mir says, "I like cold weather." Hey, how cold does it get for you guys? So, Buddha laid out his eightfold path. He said, first two noble truths. Life is suffering. He tells you why we suffer. Again, it's been sort of mistranslated that we suffer because of our desires. Nope. We suffer because we cling to that which we desire. And then he offers you a path out. The last two of the Four Noble Truths are his pathway out. In yoga, Buddhism as well. Buddhism, slightly different, and we'll read that. The 5 afflictions of the mind, the kleshas. Let's see, Mir says, because my village weather is freezing. Huh. Interesting. So are you near the mountains, Mir? The five afflictions, also called the kleshas, are how we perceive the world. They're the mental avenues of consciousness that are filtered down into our perception. So we see the world based upon avidya. Avidya means ignorance, or mistaking the unreal for the real. Asmita. Asmita is egoism, meaning that we believe that we are this small, separate self, the ego. The mistaken, here it is, the egoism, or the formation of a sense of distinction based upon judgment, which doesn't exist. However, we're viewing the world through that which we believe, and we believe that we are this sense of self that has formed an entity of its own and declared itself small and independent, its own little thing. And if we're lucky in the right religious circumstances, that small little thing passes away, and a slightly larger little thing called a soul carries on. However, all of it is based upon false perception. You see through the self, the illusory, the imaginary self, and you see selflessness itself. Consciousness, Buddha consciousness, Krishna consciousness, Christ consciousness. Third, Raja. Raja is attachment. We view the world through our attachment to things, the desire for material objects. Always chasing after this and this and this and this. And the opposite, the Vesa, which is our aversions. That if we're not chasing after something, we are keeping away from something else. Hey, Eric LaPointe. And Bushka, my friend, how are you? Bushka says, Eric, how are you? I'm doing good, my friend. Eric says, hey to Yogi. That's me. And Mir Ahmed. Mir says, those height is about 8,000 meters, about sea level. Above 8,000 meters above sea level, right? Let's see. Mir says, hey, Eric, bro. And Bushka. The last one. Fear and clinging to life, which relates to Raja, egotism. Because if the ego is small and separate, independent entity, that means eventually it's going to die, and it produces that fear of death. And we are seeing the world through, again, ignorance of who we truly are, believing the unreal is real, believing that we are small, separate self apart from everything else, always viewing the world to that which we like, that which we are attached to, or conversely, viewing the world from all that we don't like, all the things that we are adverse to, and that small, limited self, full of fear and desire, is eventually going to pass away, which it will, because it doesn't even exist. You are not the ego. The ego is a collection of thoughts. However, we think that we are those collection of thoughts. We think that we're the voice that is being narrated in our head, telling us stories. This is true. This is not true. This was a valid experience. This was not a valid experience. It's always saying this, 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 or maybe that. However, you, who you truly are, is the awareness of those thoughts. And all it takes is a little shift of perception from the object of a thought to the observer of the thought. That's the key of meditation. That's the art of meditation. You have a thought, you have a thought, you have a thought, and you just keep returning back to the mantra. Somewhere in between the thought and the mantra, you slip into the gap, which is between every thought and the mantra, pure silence, just for an instant. And you realize, wait a minute, I am not my thoughts. What a huge relief. There's a lot of junk in here. A lot of junk. Hey, Sue. Eric White says, great Mir, and you. Bushka says, hello to Sue. And Sue says, Bushka and Eric, we're traveling the same circles today. Let's see. Hey, Sherry, how are you? Sherry Vlog says, hello, Eric. Hello, my friend. Nice to see you. I met Sherry over, where did I meet Sherry? Hold on. I have it up. Daisy May, who had a wonderful live stream. I kept diving in all throughout the morning, as soon as it comes up, and then I leave it on playing. I told you I institute what's called the Kayla Bill policy, named after, you'll never guess who, Kayla Bill. When Kayla's such a great person, and she's a wonderful live streamer, gaming channel, and she will go forever, 10 hours, 11 hours. I usually catch her midpoint, and I made a policy to support her. When Kayla Boo comes up, I leave her running on my desktop for however long she remains. 6 hours, 7 hours, doesn't matter. She stays up. So then I started instituting that policy with some of my other favorite live streamers. When I see Mira go up, live streaming, Kayla Boo policy. He stays up on my desktop as long as he's doing a live stream. I might not always be there. I might need to run out. I might need to take a shower. I might need to work out. But Mira remains on the screen. Daisy May, Kayla Boo policy. Love Our Toy Pups, Kayla Boo. Eric Lapointe doesn't do his live streams as often, but when he does, regardless of at what moment I catch it, beginning or the middle, he stays on as long as he's talking. Same with all the the key figures in our community. Let's see. Sherry says hello to everyone. Hey, you know what? Our friend Sherry is growing her channel. She's working for some watch hours. If you guys would be so kind, Sherry is now a moderator. If you would like to hook up with her, and our friend Bushka is a moderator. If you guys would like to hook up with her, this way it just makes it easier for everyone. So that's the 5 cliches of yoga. How we perceive the world is through those 5 afflictions of the mind. Buddhism, slightly different. Buddhism has the same thing, mental states that cloud the mind. That's the best way to describe it. Cliches are the mental states that cloud the mind, lead to negative actions. Why do we live in a world where there's warfare, where there's crime, where we allow children to starve? Because we are confused with who we truly are. Let's see. In addition to the cliches that I just mentioned, Buddhism adds in anxiety, fear, anger, and jealousy, and depression, along with all the other stuff that I mentioned. Buddhism goes a little more in depth. Sort of. Here's what I love about A Course in Miracles. They boil it down to one: fear. Our perception is caused, our perception of the world is caused by our perceptions of the world is caused by our projection. And what we are projecting is the fear that we are separate from God. Fear that we are separate from God. That we are guilty. We were kicked out of the Garden of Eden. Garden of Eden being a metaphor for perfect oneness. That we are messed up. We sinned. We're guilty. So we project that into the world, causing the perception that we live in a guilt-filled world, that we live in a violent world, that we live in a world that allows for starving children. And people say, why would God allow a world in which children starve? And the answer is, God did not allow that to happen. We did. We could end that like that. We could end every war with a simple change of mind, a different thought. We could change our thought. This is why A Course in Miracles says, do not seek to change the world, seek to change how you perceive the world, and everything changes. Let's see, Ginger says, Yogi, taking a shower, what did I come into? This is the special adult only yogi live stream. Sherry says, hello, Bushka. I'm fine. Nice to meet you. I'm glad you guys are able to connect, support each other on your wonderful channels. Ginger says, hello, people. Hey, so Ginger, how did you enjoy your fishing trip? Ginger says, possum versus wombat. I'm tempted to say possum because I really like possums, but wombats are from Australia, and everything will eventually kill you in Australia. Everything in Australia either has claws, including flowers, insects, or it's poisonous, including flowers and insects. Quite possibly, wombats have a secret poison. It wouldn't surprise me. The big question, maybe this evening, the later live stream, is going to be, I think, depending if the right people are there to vote, turtle versus crab. By versus, I don't mean who's going to win in a fight, but which one is viewed as a, I know it sounds judgmental, superior species. They're both wonderful species. But for sake of our ridiculousness and our having a good time, we're going to say which one is a superior creature. If we were to have a totem spirit guide for this channel, would it be a crab? Would it be a turtle? You get to decide. Ending Echo says hello again. Hello, my friend. How are you? Ginger says, great. I did enjoy the fishing. What all did you catch? Let's see. Sue says, what did I miss from Sue? Just making sure I didn't miss anything or anyone. Oh, there you go. Hit my goal of 4,100 subs. Awesome, Sue. Congratulations. That's big. And you know what? Well deserved. Well deserved, my friend. Sherry said, Bushka, sub done to your channel. Just watched your video of the beautiful dog. Nice. 1.5 pound perch. It's a pretty big perch. Nice. Hey, Global, how are you? Tomorrow's the day, right? You getting work done on your back tomorrow? If you guys can follow along on the back tribal tattoo, follow me, Global. Hey, your significant other's been stopping in, which I appreciate. I appreciate you both stopping in. Global says, I uploaded my new bit of my tattoo. Gotcha. Thought it was going to be Friday. I got you up, and I will check it out right after the live stream. Hey, Sabine. Sabine, how are you, my friend? Sabine says hello, everyone in the chat. Sabine says, nice to see you all. Let's see. Bushka says hello, Sabine. Let's see. Global says I'm at 255 subs. But we're getting you there. Anyone here not subscribed to Follow Me Global? Sorry, my cat wandered in to say hi. Ginger says, I still have to vote for crabs. Them itchy little buggers. Man, against turtles? I don't know. Let's see. Global says, but my outline is done. Gotcha. Next Friday they start filling it in. Shading done next Friday. Gotcha. Are they going to be able to do all the shading at once, or is that going to take a few more sessions? I think he told me that. I think, didn't he say in November? He says, I'm fine, thank you. Sherry says, Sue, congrats on 4K subs. It's coming. Let's see. Hey, George. George Martinez says, hi. Hello, my friend. Global says, double tap the screen. If you have not, I appreciate that. Thank you. And yeah, he will fill it in. He will fit in. Okay, gotcha. George wants to know if I am in San Francisco. I am not. I'm on the opposite coast. I'm on the East Coast. So he said, Yoga had no time to get my email written. I will get to you tomorrow. You need to find out how I can explain in English. Okay, we can do that. If you want some time, I could send you my number for WhatsApp, and we could either chat on the phone or video, or just exchange some text, whatever's easiest for you. Jace says hello there. Hey, Jace. Let's see. Ginger says, turtles, I don't know. They are slow. Crabs can make a town in 24 hours, wherever they may lie. However, a turtle is at home wherever. Doesn't need to make a town. A turtle is a town in and of itself. A turtle is complete, peaceful. Doesn't need to fight. Just goes back in its shell. Lets the world pass by. Pokes his head out. Everything's safe. You guys sorted out your mess. If not, goes back in. If we've fixed our problems, fixed our issues, he'll poke his head out and he'll go about his business again. Bushka says, to Global, I got you. Thank you, Bushka. Hey, Tandra. Tandra says, hi there, Yogi in chat. Nice to see you, my friend. Global says, back. Hey, Jace. How are your watch hours, my friend? It's been a little bit since I've asked you. Whenever I catch you live, I watch all the way through, and then I go back to the beginning and I watch it again, or I leave it up so it'll play through all the way. You'll be going live in just a little bit, right? Tanya says, Mira and Eric, hi there. Speaking of going live, I believe our friend Tandra is going to be doing live Friday, tomorrow being Friday. Junior says, turtles, yes, they are like little campers off grid. I think you got me there. I think we can make the case. We can make the case for turtles. I think given enough time, we can turn every crab voter, with the exception of Runnerboy, into a turtle voter. And deep in his heart, Runnerboy wants to vote for turtles. However, he's so heavily invested in the crab story that he can't see his way out of it. There's a lesson there. There is a yogic lesson there. There is a perception lesson there. We are so heavily invested in the reality that we perceive, we are unable to see true reality itself. I'm going through a book by a friend of mine who has a wonderful YouTube channel as well. If I can find it, I'll post it. It is, his name is James Plath, and he wrote a book, The Gospel of Astonishment. One of my favorite words is astonishment. And James Plath, his channel is the Institute for Advanced Astonishment, his YouTube channel. Lots of interviews with some really important people, some of whom I know from communicating with on Facebook, some I've never communicated with, but I know their work and their thoughts. Anyway, he likes to call something Plath mathematics. And here he's talking about add up everything you can see or hear or touch or smell or taste. It all adds up to one. All adds up to one. All you. There is no division. The whole world of matter and solidity and bodies and multiplicity is a very persistent, slowly evolving dream of the one infinite imagination. You can say the one infinite imagination is God, or the mystery, or the great is, the isness. That's what Richard Bach, wonderful author, he wrote the book Illusions, and Jonathan Livingston Seagull. One, all of that. So that's why every experience that we have is an experience within consciousness. Consciousness itself cannot be divided. It's one unified everything. It's so vast that we cannot even wrap our minds around it, because our minds are part of consciousness itself. So we cannot see how large we actually are. We're limited to our finite mind, when in fact we are the infinite mind itself. This is why, again, in Buddhism and yoga, they talk about the 5 afflictions, the kleshas. We are limited by our perception, those 5 things. The Course in Miracles boils it down to 1. We're limited of our perceptions. We're limited to our perceptions because of fear. Forgiveness is how we release ourselves from fear. We don't forgive people, situations, events, or ourselves. We simply see that in reality, beyond the illusion of solidity, beyond the illusion of matter, of the material world, perfect union, perfect oneness, one thing exists within the mind of God. And in that original innocence, the original garden of which we were never kicked out of, there's no need to forgive, because nothing truly ever happened. It's all part of the illusion of the wave, if that makes sense. The wave never being separate from the ocean. However, in that perfect, infinite ocean of consciousness, where everything is quiet and still, there came an impulse for a wave. God expressing himself. God expressing herself. And then came a wave. A beautiful, wonderful expression of the ocean. Cresting, going back into the ocean. Cresting, going back in the ocean. That's who we are. However, at some point, the cresting of the ocean, the wave said, I wonder what it would be like if I was apart from the ocean. If I was a little wave all on my own. Complete, in of myself. I don't need the ocean. I'm a wave. Waves are just as good, maybe even better than the ocean. And in that moment, the world of imagination, this world, sprung into consciousness as an idea. But the wave was only dreaming of the existence of this world. A dream, nothing more. Our role is to wake up and say, wait a minute, I'm not just the wave, I am the ocean. And then we settle back in. Ultimate awakening is when we realize completely that we are the ocean and we don't crest again. However, until that happens, what we can do is dream a better dream. We can dream, now that we know that we are not a separate wave, that we are always connected to the ocean of consciousness, we can dream a better dream of happiness, of joy, of equality, of feeding every single starving child, of ending warfare, of ending crime. We can dream a better dream because now we know. That little tangent that I just went on probably cost me the rest of the live stream catching up with what everyone has left in the comment section. So I'm going to dive in. I apologize. Jace says, let's go Turtles. Thank you, Jace. Jace dives right in. Jace isn't afraid to get political. He knows he's in the right. He knows Turtles should easily be the spirit totem of this live stream, of this channel. Hey, Optimob, my friend, how are you? Let's see. Sherry has subbed to Eric Lapointe. You won't regret it, Sherry. Man, I'm way behind. But here we go. Diving in. I'm going to skip by everyone's highs, but I appreciate you guys saying hi to each other. Ginger says, turtles, yes, they are like little campers off the grid. I read that. I think you got me there. Optimob is saying hi to everyone. Jay says, still shows 2.2 for the last 365 days. Yep, live soon. It's so weird. Some people being stuck because you've been at 2.2 for a while and there's no way you're at 2.2. You gotta be past 3 now, for sure. I hope YouTube catches up soon. Let's see. I want to make sure I don't miss anyone coming in. Let me just repeat this from Jace. Let's go Turtles. Here's the thing about Jace. He doesn't lie, and he has your best interest at heart. So Jace would not mislead you on Turtles. If Jace says Turtles, really reevaluate your opinion on any other creature that you think should be the spirit guide for just a yogi doing burpees in his basement. Okay, so I had to check on my potatoes. They cooked a bit fast. Potatoes are a delicate food. Definitely don't want to overcook them. Food addiction says like 10. Thank you, Sheena. How are you? Did you guys watch Sheena bike for watch hours last week? An epic session. Sheena says, good afternoon, Eric. Eric Point says turtle power. Another thing, Eric LaPointe. He knows the way of wilderness. He knows the woods. He's a Christmas tree farmer. He knows the land. Would he mislead you on the most important species of all species? I told you all the story of the universe being on the back of a turtle. And you might ask, as someone did to William James, or William James asked to someone, what's beneath the turtle? Another turtle. It's turtles all the way down. Infinite turtles. Tanya says, Jason hasn't changed in that long. It's been several months since it's changed for Jace. All right. Tima says, Bushka, we see us again in many chats. I appreciate when it comes together like that. You know what I mean? People that we see in all these different chats. Even if it's just for a minute of people coming in and saying hi. Ginger says, Michelangelo is my favorite turtle. Now, here's the thing. Do you have a favorite crab? If you have a favorite turtle, that should tell you something. But if you don't have a favorite crab, that should tell you something too. I'm just saying. I'm not going to get too deep into the weeds here. We're going to save that this evening. I think I'm going to have a vote. Tandra says, also dark here. The nights are short, drawn and fast. Yeah, they are. About 6-ish, 6:30 or so here. And then we're going to lose an hour daylight in the beginning of November. So almost here. Bushka says the mind is the most powerful thing on this earth. It is. And we can actually say there is nothing separate from the mind. There's only one mind. There's God's mind. And that we are an extension of God's mind. We are ideas in the mind of God. And ideas leave not their source. Meaning, any thought, any idea has never left the source of God, the one mind. So everything that we're viewing is the consciousness of God's mind. Everything. So anything that happens, anything that, if when we truly experience God's mind, we know that it is infinite love, nothing but love. So anything that we experience that is not love is not part of God's mind. It's part of our own limited, small imagination. Remember the analogy, or it's an allegory, or is it a metaphor of the wave always being part of the ocean? Always. Infinite consciousness. But somewhere the wave said, I wouldn't mind being separate. And of course, the wave can never be separate. But since the mind is so powerful, even the mind of a wave, because it is the mind of the ocean itself, instantly we imagined that we were separate. And we dreamed it so deeply that we seem unable to wake up. However, we always wake up, because we're never apart. In the Genesis, it says that God caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep. And yet nowhere in the rest of the Bible does it ever say Adam woke up. We are dreaming within the garden, Adam being the prototypical male, the Alpha, and the Omega, dreaming in the garden that he was kicked out of the garden, and he feels guilty for being kicked out of the garden. And in that dream, he is projecting that guilt outwards, and that is the perception of the world that we see. But when Adam wakes up, he looks around and realizes it was just a dream. I was always in the garden. But because our minds are so powerful and we're so entangled in our minds, this dream seems so incredibly real. And it is on the level of perception, but on the level of reality itself, it isn't. Tanya says, oops, I read that. Like Point says, I knew it, Ginger. I'm trying to think of the other names. Michelangelo. I know they were Renaissance painters and for the Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles. Did I get the order of that right? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I don't know. Ginger said, ever since I was 5, has been my turtle, and her low food addiction. You see, you love turtles. How can you ever place a crab above Michelangelo? Ginger says, I don't know, but he is top notch. Timo says, I hope I didn't miss anyone. I don't think Timo ever misses anyone. Timo is very thorough in everything that he does. Pushka says, it's all an illusion, Optimob. It is all an illusion. Have you guys ever read Illusions by Richard Bach? I have it back here somewhere. Highly recommend it. Sorry, guys. That is an insurance agent calling me. About a month ago, when I was trying to get insurance for my dad's car that I inherited, I made the mistake of typing in least expensive insurance. That was it in Google. I never clicked on any link. I just typed it in. And ever since, at least 7 times a day, I get phone calls, messages, texts from insurance agents. Let's see. Bang Chan Lee Noskis says, hi. How close did I get that right? Optimop says, an optical illusion. Very clever, my friend. Bang says, hello to Optimob. Ginger says, hi to Bang. Hey, Alice, my friend, how are you? Alice says, hi, Yogi. Sorry it took me so long to get down here. I'm going to go past some of the hellos. Jay says, since when did crabs sunbathe on top of the water? Turtles win. All right, there you go. It really should be. I think Jace just pretty much put a checkmate on the debate. So there's a possibility that Chase might be wrong. slim, slight. There's a possibility that Eric Lapointe might be wrong. Very slim, very slight. There's an impossibility of Jace and Eric Lapointe being wrong. It doesn't add up mathematically. I'm doing the highest algebra available to me. I'm even throwing in some geometry. I'm even throwing in some trigonometry. And any other ometry that is out there. All the math that I know. Sorry. All the math words that I know. The math that I know, not much. The math words that I know quite a few math words. So I'm throwing all that in there. It's mathematically impossible for Jace and Eric Lapointe to both be wrong. There you go. Sue says, Bang. If I didn't know that we had a friend here named Bang, I would think that Sue was trying to scare me. Let's see. So how you doing, Alice? Ginger says crabs don't get stuck on the beach. But you know what? Turtles will actually come together to help another turtle right side itself up. Right side itself up. Crabs, they'll go over and eat the other crab that fell on its back. Jay says Lapointe knows he was a turtle trainer for years. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Sabine is laughing. Ginger says, Mr. Krabs. Is there a Mr. Krabs? Sherry says, Optimob, you have a great video, sub done. Thank you, Sherry. Hey, Sherry. If you like his videos, their videos, Optimob is Timo, Sabine, and Bax. It's a team. If you like their videos, come by Sunday. I don't know where you're located, Sherry, but here on the east, it is 4 o'clock. Not now. Sundays at 4 o'clock is the premiere. And it's a wonderful experience. You get to meet all kinds of new friends. You hang out. Beautiful soundtrack, perfectly edited. You will have a really good time. Tima says, thank you, Sherry. Vlog so much. Jace says, Defo has to be turtles. Eric, Speed, he will get there eventually. Eventually. Ginger says, Mr. Krabs is a cheap fella. I'm going to have to look up. I'll have to look that up. Jace Optimob says, we all know bikini bottom. Bikini bottom. Bikini bottom. And Optimob says, and I'm a 51-year-old. Let's see. Hey, Austin. Austin says, hey, Yogi, and everyone. Stella, my friend, how are you? Miss Blipper, how are you? Miss Blipper, we're talking turtles. Daisy, hello, Daisy. Daisy says, hello, everyone in chat. We were talking about your channel just a bit ago, Daisy. Daisy says, hello, everyone. Just eating some lunch and visiting friends. Well, much appreciated that I'm on the list. UK Medic says, hey, hey, hey. Hey, Medic, my friend, how are you? Jay says, Robin, hey. And I'm caught up. That didn't take me that long, did it? Actually, it took me about, 45 minutes. I pretty much fell behind at the beginning of the conversation. Daisy says, oh, thanks. I had you up all morning. I mentioned this before, one of the things I like about doing that, keeping friends up running, is no matter what you do, when I come back into my office, I know it's up and running and I can dive in wherever you dive in, you're going to be in the middle of a great conversation. You're going to be in the middle of friends, just sharing stories or hanging out or it might be nice and silent and you're looking at the ocean in the case of Daisy, which is never, never a waste of time. Looking at the ocean, recognizing our kinship. We got the ocean as our birth of origin, as a body. We literally have the blood is the same, just about the same chemical makeup as seawater. We are oceanic beings. Hey, Weldon Carey, how are you? Weld says hi to everyone. Nice to see you, my friend. Let's see. Medic says, I noted your post on forgiveness. What you have to remember is it's your fault for allowing some asshole to do something you have to forgive. So that's an interesting perspective. I'm definitely going to subscribe to UK Medic's newsletter and learn more. The philosophy. For one, yeah, it was definitely my fault for being friends with an asshole to begin with. I should have been 59 years old. I definitely should have been smarter. No excuses. Speed says I'm in the middle of cooking, so I'm on and off, but in the back. Bushka says somebody needs a medic. I think we all need a medic. Timo says, medic, you are right. The Higher Wisdom of UK Medic. That should be a book. Medic says, never doubt your gut instinct. It's usually correct. All right. I'm definitely caught up. Definitely caught up in the conversation. We got 18 thumbs up. That's very much appreciated, guys. Very kind of you. Poster says, if you didn't befriend, then show judgment without knowing. Hey, Toy Pops. Nice to see you. Well, of course, a different way of seeing it. I'm friends with everyone. And literally, if you come in here, if you're in my life, if you're across the street, doesn't matter. Friends. And forgiveness allows me to see past any perceived notion of error, of sin, of mistakes, of guilt, any perceived, and to look at the original innocence of each and every person. In Buddhist psychology, they say it's recognizing the inner nobility of every single person, seeing past all the humanness to the divinity. So what we forgive is the illusion that they are not completely divine. Doesn't mean mistakes don't happen on the level of perception. Doesn't mean that assholes don't exist, but on the level of perception. What we do is look past the perception, which gives us great, great discernment. Because when you see on the level of perception, all kinds of stuff are possible. If you ignore that level of perception, then yes, you can be hurt, you can be vulnerable, you can be suffer. All kinds of stuff, good and bad, happen on the level of perception, but that doesn't make it real. It makes it a perception. Reality is that which is not perception. The awareness that allows perception to take place. So how are you, Toy Pops? Timo says, I heard Medic will immigrate to, what's the first flag? And what's this? And what's the second flag? I should know my flags better. My cat's saying hi to you guys. Toy Pup says, miss you guys. We've been here waiting for you, my friend. Medic says, maybe it's a perceived reality. Well, that's a good question. When you keep getting the rug pulled out from under you, and you see that reality itself is infinite, rug after rug after rug after rug, it's no longer a matter of perception. You're not perceiving. It's too quiet. There's nothing there. There's nothing there to perceive in reality itself. Things are occurring within perception. When we meditate, even just a few months, of course it deepens over years and years and years, you reach a level of silence where you literally see a thought coming like a cloud. Buddha called it our clear sky mind. Clear sky nature, who we are, always the clear sky. And yet the sky is available for every single cloud, for every single mountaintop, for every branch reaching through it, for every bird, nowadays for every airplane. But it is always unaffected by that. So ultimate mind, ultimate reality, infinite love, or God, is never affected by that which passes through. Does the cloud have any substance aside from the cloudlessness that it is? It dissipates, no cloud, and yet the sky remains. Let's see. Bushka says past deception or lead by example. Interesting. Laboratory Pup says, oh my god, hi to Optimob. They say if in doubt, don't. So why give someone the benefit of the doubt? That's a good question. Why? You don't have to. You don't have to give someone the benefit of the doubt. You can look and perceive someone's innate nobility and still not give them the benefit of the doubt, knowing that on the surface, on the human level, they're going to mess up. They're going to hurt, and they might hurt you. So no one ever says to give up your discernment. You can forgive. You can see someone's inner nobility, their original innocence, and also see that on the level of perception, they're doing things that you don't agree with. They're doing things that might hurt you. So you send love from a distance. No one says that you have to be intimately involved, although we always are, because in the intermingling of particles themselves, there is nothing but intimacy. There's nothing but involvement. But on the humanness level, we just send love from a distance. We know that the nature of forgiveness isn't to say, do it again. Although Jesus did say, turn the other cheek. Let's see, where are we? Bushka says, if you didn't befriend, then show judgment without knowing. I might have to think about that one. Germany and Switzerland. Thank you, Jace. Jerry says, Laboratory Pups, miss your singing voice. Norway and Germany. Thank you, Optimob. Medic says, yep, I read that. Toy Pup says, Bushka. Medic says, oops, every time I get to it, it comments, never mind. You know what it is. You guys are live streamers. Too many Germans in Switzerland, Timo. So I was thinking of going to Germany. There's a certain logic to that. I don't know. Intuitively, it makes sense. Tima says, but here you are Savor as in Germany. Daisy says, I'm here listening, and everyone having lunch with Daisy. Tell Daisy that we said hi. Toy Pup says, I'm spamming. Much appreciated. Sherry says, enjoy your lunch with Daisy. Medic says, last time I sent love from a distance, I got arrested for sending porn in the post. We definitely have different definitions, definitely different definitions of love. We have to be careful about attachments. Mira says, save Brother Medic. How's your health, buddy? Medic says he's doing well. And have a great health, bro. Blessings and prayers. Thank you, Mir. And I agree with Mir, Medic. Blessings and prayers. And so glad you're doing better. So in the great words of Richard Bach, who I was talking about before, he talks about if we argue for our limitations, they're ours. That's what we have. When we argue for a reality that includes the acceptance of warfare, crime, violence, starving children, casual cruelty, divisional politics, that's what we have. We say things can't be different because this is the way they are. And we generally give up. Because, again, as A Course in Miracles says, do not seek to change the world, seek to change your perception of the world. The way we do that is go to the cause. Why is the perception of the world the way it is? If we truly look, if we boil everything down, it comes down to fear. The fear is based upon a judgment that we are unworthy of anything better. We are unworthy because we believe that we are separate from the source, that we are separate from God, that we are separate from each other. When, again, in meditation, breath work, the practice of yoga, when everything's slowed down, everything is slowed down. You see, again, what yoga calls the 5 afflictions of the mind, and there's more than 5 in Buddhist psychology. And you recognize the entanglement of the mind, how everything is based upon our addictions to the things that we are attached to, our addiction to the things that we are averse to, our addiction to the belief that we are an actual ego, our fear that as an ego, that we are small and finite and will eventually die, and that we are ignorant of who we truly, truly are. As you work through those 5 afflictions and you dive beneath them, you start to see, and the yogic meditation, neti neti. Neti is Sanskrit, and it means not this, not this. You start to dismiss, not this. I'm not that thought. I'm not that thought. I'm not that thought. And when you dismiss all of that, what's left? When you're without thought itself, what do you have? In the absence of the thought of reality, what is there? In the absence of the thought of guilt, what is there? But until you go through that list systematically, you believe that you are those things. You believe that you are a small, limited object in a world of objects. And you see what happens to every single object. Even the greatest mountain is reduced to a speck that will eventually vanish itself. Medic says, well, innocence is without doubt someone else's guilt. I don't understand that. Bushka says, if you change the heart to good, then you will only see good, and good perspective follows. Yes. And the great news, we don't even have to change the heart. The heart is already there. We just need to recognize it. The path of yoga, the path of Buddhism, the path of Christianity is recognizing what is already present. When Jesus forgave from the cross, he didn't forgive with conditions. He didn't say, "Forgive them, Father, for they know exactly what they did. And I don't like it, and you don't like it, so forgive them, but let's punish them first." He didn't say that. He didn't list a single condition. He said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do," meaning they were innocent. They were acting upon those 5 kleshas of the mind. They were acting upon who they thought they were, but not who they actually were. And when you can see that, the lesson of the crucifixion is that in any moment, we can either choose the crucifixion, meaning that we crucify others and we crucify ourselves, or we can choose the resurrection, which is rebirth. And that in every moment, people are granted the innate rebirth of who they truly, truly, truly are. Can we limit that? Well, I've recognized your innate nobleness. I've recognized your original innocence 6 times in a row now. I ain't going to do it again. 6 times is too many. Jesus said, how often do we forgive? 7 times 70, which is just a metaphor for infinitely so. It's a process. We do it for the rest of our lives. There's not a limit. Jace says, perfectly so. Bushka, it's all about love. Thank you, Jace. Bushka says, correct, Jace. Medic says, I only ever do good, Bushka. That's why God is always looking out for me, as my near miss with death proved. Nice, Medic. Bang is back. Bushka says, you love Medic. Let's see, we're having supper now. Optimob is having supper. Enjoy your meal, my friends. Medic says, if you're innocent, then someone has to be guilty. Why? Why does someone have to be guilty? Why does anyone have to be guilty? If innocence is an original nature, then anything that comes afterwards is just a myth. Anything that comes afterwards is simply the illusion that we're dreaming. The great Chan, C-H-A-N, which is the original Buddhism of China, right before it spread to Japan and became Zen. Chan and Zen, basically the same word, talks about as soon as we make a distinction like that, well, if I'm innocent, someone's got to be guilty. The entire world is split into infinite pieces. But of course, it never is truly so, because in non-duality and perfect oneness, nothing can ever be split, but it can be imagined that way, and we can live our life captured by that imagination that someone has to be this, someone has to be guilty. If you see past the illusion of guilt, as Bushka was saying, your heart is cleansed. You're seeing perfect oneness. You're seeing perfect love. Doesn't mean, though, that the illusion has dissipated, but we see through it. We're no longer caught in it. And the more we see through it, the happier this particular dream becomes, until eventually we awaken. Let's see. Medic says, I feel it, Bushka, without doubt. I'm glad you feel it, Medic. Yeah, you are definitely loved throughout the community, my friend. We got some hearts from Toy Pups. Banks says, hi, hey, LOTP. Oh, love our Toy Pups. Why did that take me so long to figure out? Timo says, thank you, Eric. Bryant says, hello, Eric in chat. You're welcome, Optimob. Hey, Brian. Brian, how are you? So indeed, we can always argue for our perceptions, and that keeps us trapped into the world that we are perceiving. Or we could just get very, very quiet. The whole thing about forgiveness and non-forgiving, about guilt and innocence, is all created and done by the ego. So real forgiveness is when we say, I can't forgive this, meaning the ego, and we turn it over to the Holy Spirit or Jesus or Krishna or love, knowing that there is something bigger than the ego that is unconditional. Love itself, we can go to St. Paul's letters to the Corinthians and read his beautiful description of love. Love is patient, love is kind. Basically, paints the opposite of love that we perceive. So, God being infinite love can have no distinctions, no judgment at all. That seems pretty big, and it seems like we are incapable of loving the way God is, unless we turn things over to the Holy Spirit, which is the intermediary, our true voice connected to the ever-present God, never separate. So we turn things over to the Holy Spirit. It's another way of saying, your will, God, not my own. Brian says, hey to Ushka, says, I'm doing fine, just got done watching Paradox, and that's just for our life. Were they together, or was that two separate videos? I haven't seen Paradox for a while. Evan says, know how to control and visualize and understand all this philosophy stuff. You must be very smart. Wish I knew that stuff. First, thank you, Evan. Second, and maybe second should be first. Actually, no. The problem is trying to understand philosophical stuff, trying to understand all these little different teachings, different thoughts, and we don't have to. All we have to do, relax. I sent a quote to a friend of ours, Easy, who shows up in the chat in the mornings, sometimes in the afternoons too, from Thomas Merton, the Jesuit priest, who was a monk, who also had a deep and abiding fascination with Taoism and Zen, and he had an awakening experience in a Tibetan monastery. Unfortunately, he passed away soon after. But here's what he says about that. What you were saying, Evan. My dear brothers and sisters, we are already one, but we imagine we are not. And what we have to recover is our original unity. What we have to be is what we are. What we have to be is what we are. That takes all the pressure off. Evan, you don't have to know anything at all. Because what you have to be, what you think you have to know, you already are right now. Relax into that. Everything else is just a fun discussion. Here's the amazing thing with meditation is you meditate and you meditate and you meditate and you try to do it right, and you try to concentrate, and you try to never let a thought enter your mind, and you try to do this, you try to do that, and then all of a sudden you let it go. Everything drops away. You're no longer trying, you're simply meditating. Thoughts come, thoughts go, and yet the original mind remains. Awareness remains. You're aware, I'm thinking. You're aware, I'm not thinking. You're aware of the space between thinking and not thinking. The great discovery. Awareness. I'm aware. And you're never not aware. The same awareness when you were born that had nothing, no concept, no labels, was there. You came into the world aware, or you came into this world aware. And you were aware when you were 6, and you were aware when you were 16. You were aware, you will. I know you're not 46 yet. You'll be aware when you're 46. You'll be aware when you're 86. It doesn't come or go. Just says time to work. Yep, I'm going to log off very shortly. We're going to check out Jace, hang out with him for a bit. We're going to see who else is live. Hey, Lover Toy Pups, if you're still around, are you going to be going live? Tandra, you still going live tomorrow? Buchka says, hi, Evan. Once you start an interest, you will grow. Absolutely. And what you really find is it's all an art of letting go. It's all an art of surrender. Whatever happens, whatever experience that we think are meaningful, significant, as we let them go, doesn't mean they weren't meaningful and significant when they were happening. But as we let them go, we find that the pureness of being, beingness itself, you are never not being. Never not being. And again, we just relax. Beingness includes all the things that we label as mistakes, all the things that we think of as, man, I got to get better than this. Why am I still getting caught up in anger? Why am I still jealous? Why am I still this? Because they are things that are occurring within beingness itself. When we realize that, we don't give them as much weight. They're things. They're objects. They're thoughts. Passing through. We let them go. When we let them go, they pass through a whole lot quicker than if we cling to them, if we worry over them, if we worry over them. How come I'm not smarter? Why don't I know this? Because we don't need to. As the great Zen master Suzuki Roshi said to a group of psychologists, therapists, therapist students, you're perfect just the way you are. However, you could also use a little bit of work. Meaning, we are human and we are divine. As humans, we can do a little bit better. As divinity itself, we are absolute perfect. Don't have to change a thing. How can you change divinity? My big thing, give yourself a break. Be easy on yourself. Learn to love yourself through every possible scenario. Everything. When you learn to love yourself, you recognize all you have is love. All you have to give away is love. If you squeeze an orange, only orange stuff comes out. Orange seeds, orange pulp, orange juice, orange, all the stuff that we crushed up. When you recognize yourself as truly infinite love and you are squeezed by the pressure of life, all you have to give away is love. But when you perceive yourself otherwise and you are squeezed, you give away your perception. Because we're so immersed in the perception, we think this is reality. We don't see a way out. Einstein said, you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. Meaning you need a paradigm shift, a complete mind shift. From the imaginary mind of the ego to the one mind of reality itself, to the one mind of God itself. So yeah, me, I'm of the belief, I want to drop every philosophy. I want to drop everything I've ever studied and just love. And the way to love is to forgive. Because forgiveness is looking past all that is not love, and anything that is not love is an illusion. Sometimes illusions can hurt when you are perceiving them. But we just keep looking deeper. Tanja says, if I get early finish, I will be live. We'll be on the lookout for you. Hopefully, depends on work. Let's see. Nightmare says, hi Eric, it's me. I would like to say that you have been doing great at this live streaming thing without my assistance. You know what, Nightmare? It was touch and go. Touch and go for a while. You know how I got through it? I kept thinking, man, what would Nightmare do in this situation? And then I realized what Nightmare would do would yell crabs really loud and exit the live stream. Kayla says, hi, Bill. Hey, Kayla, I was talking about you earlier. I was talking about my Kayla Bill policy. Nightmare says, very true, Eric. Crabs all the way. Unless they're not. And we will find out this evening, I believe. We'll find out this evening when we have the great turtle and crab. I don't want to say versus any longer. You can choose your preference. Preference is easier. There was a great author, wrote the Handbook of Higher Consciousness. And as soon as I said it, his name slipped right out of my head. Handbook of Higher Consciousness is the name of the book. And he distilled Buddhism to simple thing. Turn your demands into a preference, and you will be infinitely happier. If you demand life to be this particular way, you are in for a long haul, because life seldom meets your demands. Maybe briefly, but then we always got another demand. Demanding. I demand traffic to go faster, the line to be shorter, more money in my bank account, more easygoing spouse. I demand my kids to be respectful and not get in trouble and to get better grades. But how about if we turn those into preferences? How much easier that is to deal with. I would prefer traffic to be better, but hey, this is what I have. So we settle in, turn on some music, sing along. We take some great advice from our friend Levo Toy Pups, and we just sing. Hey Stuart, how are you? Stuart is saying hi to everyone. Stuart says, hello, my Wombat Yogi brother. Hey, Stuart, I'm going to log off in just a minute. Are you going to be going live? And our friend Jace is live now as well. What about the flooding? Did it flood for you? I hope not. Let's see. Hey, Lala, my friend, how are you? Nice to see you. Lola says, what's up, Nightmare? Stuart says it will be. I will be on the lookout for you, my friend. Lola says, Tandra, hi. Lola says, crabs are delicious. So in Baltimore, in Maryland, let's say the Delmarva Peninsula, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware. They put Old Bay on everything. So no one in Baltimore knows what a crab actually tastes like. They know what Old Bay tastes like. Put on crabs. Oh, it says, hey, Yogi Meister. Night Watcher's here. Hey, Night Watcher. All right. So I am going to see, I got Sherry still up and playing right now. We are on video number 9 on her playlist. Ula says, the Bushkalala. I like that. So it's come to my attention that our friend Lala Palulaza. How did I do? That was right off the cuff. I didn't break out my cheat sheet. I didn't think about it. I just said it. Don't think I can do it again. But it has come to my attention that Lala has the best nicknames for everyone. Let's see. Lala Palooza. See, that time I thought about it. Lala says you're getting closer, Yogi. Close but no cigar, says Nightmare. When I became a vegan, I was given great advice. Aim for the bullseye, meaning try to be the perfect vegan, but be happy when you hit the target. So, the bullseye is me saying it perfect. Hitting the target is when I get close but no cigar. Lola says, laughing, thank you for the compliment. You really do have the best nicknames for everyone, and it's so off the cuff. You know what I mean? Instantaneous. And you can tell that it's done with a great amount of affection for the person that you're doing it to, which makes it endearing. You know what I mean? That Watcher says, I would actually disagree. Noble is the better nicknamer. Huh. Noble does do good nicknames, but maybe I'm out of Noble practice because I haven't caught him live streaming for a while. It did pop in yesterday or the day before very briefly. Let's see. Lola says, I just come up with them. And yes, I say the nicknames with sincerity. Nightmare says, oh, may I have a cool nickname, please? Oh, it says absolutely Nightmare. Nightmare with a K. I like it. Hey, Skeeter. Skeeter says, waving at everyone, says Brother Yogi. Nice to see you, Skeeter. How are you? How's Mrs. Skeeter? And also, are you going to be going live 7 or earlier? Lola says nickname with that, or you want a completely witty name? Skeeter says it's doing great. Happy to hear that, Skeeter. Let's see. Nightmare says, I like that. Thanks, Lala. Nightwatcher says, I'm going to try to give nicknames now. I already gave Yogi like 3 and Flower 10. Up to this point, 0. Skeeter's taking the night off, and tomorrow night go live Saturday morning. So you're taking off tonight and tomorrow, and then Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Okay, great. I'll be able to catch you for sure Saturday morning. Lola says, how about McKnight Einstein? I like that. McKnight Einstein. It's got that Irish adult to it. Brian says, Link is a great channel. Check it out. I will, Brian. Thank you. I just clicked over and looked at what you sent, and it does look pretty amazing. Nightmare says, ooh, McKnight Einstein has a ring to it. It does have a ring to it. Skeeter says, tomorrow night, Halloween special, live haunted house. Wow, nice. So you'll be live streaming the haunted house? Well, it says, Brian, De La Soul Lane. De La Soul Lane. What's up, brother? Man, that's a good one for Brian for sure. Now what it says, bareback lumberjack, wood splitter burpees. Nightmare says, we just love Halloween. Mocha loves Halloween. Mocha and my stepdaughter both love Halloween. Bushka says, might mare. Nice. Skeeter says, yes, going through it live. Okay, what time are you going to be doing that, Skeeter? Brian says hello to Lala. Lala says, you got it, McKnight Einstein. So tonight, I think it's going to be the vote. Turtles versus crabs, once and for all. 9 p.m. So just late enough to start getting spooky. Nice, Skeeter. Hey, feel free tomorrow, when you know for certain and you have things set up, to come on by and drop the link. Nightmare is celebrating. Phyllis says, what's up, Squeeter? So did you guys hear they'll be doing a live haunted house tomorrow, 9 p.m.? I will unfortunately be asleep, but I will catch the replay. Lola says, Udip, I'll be there. Nice. That's what I like to hear. And then Saturday morning, he'll be fishing at 9 a.m. All right, so as well as our friend Sherry, our new friend Sherry, I have our friend Levo Toy Pups playing. She is on video number 4 for the day. But the first video was 2.5 hours. The second was a little over 3. The second was almost 2.5, and this one is 47 minutes. So that's been a good morning's worth of watch hour times. Does anyone else who is wishing for some watch hours, let me know. Our friend Bob, Anything Possible, he is still doing live stream. And Stuart's going to be doing a live stream soon. So, guys, I'm going to head off and catch some of our friends. I hope to see you guys hanging out. Timo says, okay, Eric, and the whole chat, I do say goodnight. Thank you for hanging out, Optimob. I appreciate that. You and Sabine, thank you very much. Says, take care. And it was like always a pleasure. Thank you. Bushka says, good night, Optimob. And thanks, Eric. You're welcome, my friend. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you sharing your insights with me, with all of us. Bushka says, everyone in chat. So if anyone happens to be around in about 3 hours, we're gonna have the vote. We're gonna have the poll. It's gonna be turtles. Vote yes for turtles. Let's just leave it at that. Vote yes for turtles. Crabs will be on there too, but vote yes for turtles. Hey, even if you can't hang out, come on in and vote. Come on in and vote. And then when you come in again, we'll let you know who won. So with that, guys, I'm going to say goodbye. Again, thanks for hanging out. Everyone have a good day. Take care.